Alright, so they have a little bit of gas in it. The gauge says it's not that full, but
This is loose.
yeah, for now that should be fine. Now I'll tighten that down, but if this starts, that's going to be amazing. Everything should be wired up.
Yeah, you got the key?
Yeah, it's in there.
Alright.
We got to jump it.
Okay.
Alright, try it. Oh, here. Alright, so my grandfather just left. Him and my mom had to go. And we're trying to figure out, we're trying to troubleshoot here. We're not exactly sure what could be wrong with it. The battery still had a bit of a charge after we hooked it up. It was I used my little voltmeter there, and it was putting out about 12 volts, which is correct because that's a 12-volt battery. Everything's grounded. I don't have the tray in, and I took it out to check the wiring harness, and I just kind of sat it back in there. But yeah, everything's grounded, as you can see. The spark plug wire's on. I put gas in the tank, as you can see. And then I went under and looked at the fuel filter. There is gas in the filter. So that's not the problem. What happens, I'll turn the key switch on. This has an electric clutch. So when the key switch is on and the battery is a charge, you can hear it engaging. So the battery does have a charge, and the power is getting to it, which means the wiring harness is good. But I mean, I've tried everything. I had to hook the seat safety switch up because I don't know if that'll work without it. It's in neutral. That's how it should be. The PTO is off, and it won't crank. Everything's wired up though. So I'm thinking that purple wire, where is it? That purple wire right there, on the PTO switch, that might be the problem, because there's supposed to be two purple wires there. And I took the electrical tape off the wiring harness before, then I taped it all up again, so I think I might have taped over the other connector, because there's supposed to be two connectors here. There's another connector on that micro switch there, but there's not a connector on that end of the harness. So I'm going to take the battery out, investigate a little bit more, and we'll see what we can do from there. All right. I've been messing with the 210 a little bit. I got the wiring harness straightened out. I thought I was missing this wire here, but it actually turns out I wasn't. And we jumped the battery the other day, as you guys saw, and now I have it hooked up. It's not actually secured, but it's just in there. And now that it's all hooked up, it should be ready to go. So my dad just pulled his car in here, and we're going to jump it. So give me just a second. Alright, so it's charging right now. We're just going to give it a few minutes. It did this the day I got it. The battery was low, so we had to jump it.
It's not a new battery.
It's newer, but it's from Napa, so it's not original. But
did you buy it since you got the tractor?
No, it came with it.
Oh.
So it was replaced at some point.
You may have to do it.
Yeah, I will at some point. But they cost like $90, those batteries, so just let that charge for a minute. Alright, now we're going to try and start it, and if it starts, this will have been the first time in about a year. A little more than a year, so let's see.
Make sure you're, wait, touch. What are you sitting on here?
Seat switch. Alright, so the throttle's a little picky, so bring it up there, choke it. Make sure it's in neutral. Here we go. Ooh, it's got a crank. It's not getting gas.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead, do it again.
Well,
let it pull down for a second.
Yeah, well, it hasn't had gas through the line before, so it has to pump it. So it's going to take a little bit.
You have gas in there?
Yeah. Let's try it.
Yeah, just give it more throttle.
Alright, well I mean,
Do it again and then
yeah, this throttle's a little picky because I rebuilt the carburetor, so...
start it again, but then give it more throttle when you start to choke. Choke out?
Usually it starts without it, but... Alright. So as you guys saw last night, my dad and I finally got the 210 started after a year and about a week. And then today I went to start it again and the battery was low. It's the same thing that happened when I got the tractor a year ago. The battery was just low, so I don't know if there's a short or a drain in the circuit somewhere. I really hope there's not, because I go through enough of that with that tractor. But I mounted the battery in this time. My uncle was here and he hasn't seen it run before, so he just came in and muffler gets hot pretty quick. The carburetor needed a little adjusting because the governor wouldn't stay open. I would open it up and it would just move back down. So what we did was we tightened the throttle up. It works as it should. And he adjusted the idle screws. It's hard to tell, but we got the low speed and the fuel air mixture right now. We just have to adjust the high speed, and it should be good to go. He said it idles really good, so stay tuned. Alright guys, got it running again. The carburetor needs a little adjusting, but let's take her out for a drive. This thing flies. Go fast. It's really unbelievable. Nothing like a Kohler engine, that's for sure. Okay guys, so we're back in the garage here. It's a very nice day today. It rained a lot yesterday, but it dried up, and I've just been taking the 210 out here and there, and she's been doing good. And I mean, it's very uncomfortable. I had to hook the seat up, and it's not even secured. You can see when I'm backing in, it falls off. So, and then I had to have my feet in between the pedal and the frame there just to hold it there, and it's a little tricky, but once we get the fenders on it, then she should be good to go. My uncle took a screwdriver and adjusted the high speed, low speed, and the mixture springs on the carburetor. And I gotta fix the parking brake. It shouldn't be moving like that. It runs pretty good, but it surges like at about half throttle, and then it clears up when you get the wide open. But about half throttle, that's where I'm running it. It surges, and that's just, I don't know if that has something to do with the mixture or what, but you can see when it runs, you can see the spring or the linkage just kind of like, it does this without me moving the throttle. It just moves back and forth. So I'm gonna have to fix that. I got the battery hooked up, as you can see, and I have this little jumper here. This is kind of cool. I mean, it has to charge up by itself, and that's why it's plugged into that extension cord there, but it's basically like jumper cables without having to use a car, so it's pretty handy. And yeah, so the battery hasn't been keeping its charge. It's starting to get like the LA150, but I think that's just because this is an old battery, so or it's not secured or something. I don't know. We'll investigate, but my dad and I are gonna go through tonight and tape everything up. I had to remove the electrical tape off the harness because I had to find this wire here. This is the one that was missing, and turns out for some reason I had it wired into the PTO switch there. So I got that fixed, and then I was just kind of screwing around. I could tell with the PTO switch, because it clicks, and then I cranked it, it was dead, and my dad came out, and then I started rolling the camera, and that's what you guys saw. So, now it's a little hard to start. The carb, like I said, needs some more adjusting, but let's see if the battery actually even has a charge. Yeah, well it does, for now anyway. It starts up without the choke, which is good, because I remember it did that before I took it apart. And you have to mess with the choke and the throttle a little bit. The mixture, I'm having a little trouble with the mixture, because if you throttle it up, sometimes it'll stall the motor out. So let's try it. See, it sounds like it's trying to go, but yeah, it's tricky. It needs a little bit of work. We'll get it straightened out, though. It's hard to do this with my phone in my hand, so hold on a second. Well, you guys get the idea. It really takes two hands when it really shouldn't. I should have my foot on the clutch just to reduce the wear, but it's not required. And it's got this creep in, and I'll have to fix that. The parking brake isn't hooked up. I mean, I have it locked, but it's not doing anything. So, if any of you guys know how to fix that, let me know. Because this... No, don't go anywhere. This is supposed to engage. This is on the parking brake shaft, and when you move the lever, it's supposed to engage with this and keep the clutch from moving. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to figure that out too. So, I mean, I need to get the parking brake straightened out, the battery, assuming it doesn't hold its charge, but right now it's fine, and the carburetor. And I I took her for a drive around the development. She does pretty good. The variator, I've seen some other 210s and other tractors do this. It doesn't. It feels like this is just moving freely. I don't think it's supposed to do that, but again, let me know if it is supposed to do that, because I've only run this thing a handful of times, so I can't remember, and that was a year ago. So, so you can move it forward, and then it gradually picks up speed. I guess it's supposed to do that, but I just thought it was supposed to be a little quicker. But it's no big deal. Anyway, so yeah, the 210s, that's our progress right now, and as you can see, she's getting ready to go back together. I just have to do a little bit more with the paint. We have to clear coat it. The paint actually didn't even go on that evenly. As you can see, it looks like it's wet still, but it's not. That's the thing. So we're going to clear coat it anyway. That should fix it. So there's the 210 for you guys. She's alive. See ya.